Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Brother Sister Show, a family-owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. This week, on episode 109, we are talking about Spencer and the Lost Daughter. But before we get into that, we normally catch up, going on analog this week by just using audio.
Back to the old days.
Because I am isolated with Kayla's family because they're all positive, and why not?
Oh, and I guess I will share my news. I tested negative. Suckers.
Shout out.
Which, truly very surprised that I did. But I think the only way, because like it doesn't make any sense, right? For like all of us to have been together and for me to test negative. So the only way, I'm speculating, is I just had it earlier and now it's not detectable. But
Maybe.
Who knows?
Honestly, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. We could speculate, and I'm gonna try to find if I can see any antibody tests, or if I can find any. But Sebastian said that probably doesn't matter because we have the booster, so we probably do have antibodies no matter what. So I just will never know. So yeah, but I guess we could, without doxing people, we could say just our family is like fine.
Yeah, everyone's doing good.
It was a little scary for a moment, but yeah, we're good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But what else is new?
Let me think. Oh, I started building. So for Christmas I got Sebastian a Lego Adidas shoe. Mm-hmm. And he hadn't built it yet, and it was just sitting there. And so one night I was like, "Can we build it?" I don't think I've ever gotten. Well, I've never built a Lego set myself before, and so I wanted to help him out, and so we did it together. I was a little his helper, finding all the, because you've had Lego big Lego pieces before, right? Where they have just a bunch of bags of shit, and so you have to Sebastian, he was like, "Why would I like to count all the pieces?" And I was like, "There's 700 pieces in this. We're not counting them."
Oh my gosh!
So we didn't count them. But he's like the person that when we go to when you order some at McDonald's, if you get a 10-piece McNugget, he counts all of them first.
Oh.
Or wings, he has to count them. And I don't know why I've never thought to do that, but I truly have never thought to do that until he every time he'll count them, and he's like, there's no. And now that we do that, by the way, I've noticed we get almost there. I think if it more times than you think, you don't get the exact amount that you're promised, if that makes sense.
Is it more so over or under?
It's a lot more under, but there's been some over. But yeah, it's a lot. And there's mostly and you would think with McDonald's it's easy because all the nuggets are the same size, and Chick-fil-A, this is the science of nuggets. But Chick-fil-A, the nuggets can be varying sizes, so sometimes they'll have a little bit more. But yeah, so start counting your stuff. Start counting your shit is what I'm trying to say. And what am I getting on? Oh, so because we built that and I had the need to build something else, I had this miniature set for a long time, and it's how in Hereditary, you don't have to make all the stuff, but you have to cut it out and glue it, and it's so fucking difficult. So I did it yesterday for I want to say 4 or 5 hours. And I built, I should have brought it with me, but I built 3 bookshelves, and that's it.
Wow.
That's all I built. Because you have to cut out and build all the books too. Mm-hmm. And they're so fucking tiny. It's supposed to be a little bookshop. Or bookstore or something. So I'm very excited for that. That'll be my new hobby, I think. Or I'll get a Lego set because I've never had one before. And there's a Seinfeld set I'm denying.
Nice. You should do it.
Or something more difficult. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. That's what I've been up to.
Fun.
Building miniatures.
I got nothing. Just watching movies. Spending time.
Oh yeah, you're still isolating. I forgot. That's the nice thing where when we got our negative tests like only not yesterday, but like the night before. I got mine at like midnight, which was weird.
Yeah.
Because Sebastian tested negative. But we were like, if one of us tests positive, then we're gonna both act like we're testing positive.
Yeah, because what's the point?
Yeah, and like some people's can be. We did the self one, so I can imagine like maybe I didn't go deep enough or something. But we both tested negative, and so we went to Goodwill. Like I haven't been outside and done anything in so long, because we had been isolating. But I went to Goodwill. I got a bunch of random shit. I got some movies too. I got Kung Fu Panda.
Solid.
We got a Tombstone for Sebastian's dad. And then there's two more, but I forget. Yeah, but there was a lot of good ones. They had a lot of like Blu-rays mixed in there, and then I got some clothes. I got a purse. I miss thrifting. I forgot how much I love thrifting.
Yeah.
And if Sebastian wasn't there, I probably would have gotten more random shit because I love creepy shit. There was this little wind up. It looked like a horse, like a horse on a carousel. It has like,
moves up and down.
Yeah, and so you twist it and it like turns slowly and it has a little song playing and it's like from a horror film is what it looks like. And I wanted to put it somewhere, and Sebastian was like, "No, where are we gonna put that?"
That's scary.
So it made me realize how much creepy shit I like to buy from thrift stores. But yeah, I think that's all I've done though. And I've also watched now for the competition that I've set, I've been watching a lot more movies. I've been behind a little bit, but I know I'll catch up.
Yeah, you've been behind quite a bit. What's the count right now? I think I'm at 17.
I'm at like 11, I think, or 10, probably 10.
I'm at 18, my bad. Spencer put me at 18.
What's your follower count?
My follower count, we're doing this, is at 80.
I'm at 11, and my follower count is 45. I'm coming for you in both ways.
Fair enough,
and I'm very excited.
I have nothing but time. I don't have a job. Only have to edit this podcast, so.
And all my coughs.
Plus, I'm thinking of doing Sundance because it's all virtual.
Oh, I was about to ask you that. So, like, what does that entail? Because can I do that too?
Yeah, I mean, I think
how much is it?
From what it's like $100 a day.
100 a day? That's not bad.
100
a day. That's a lot, but like,
it depends on like, I think it's like longer than a weekend. It's like a substantial amount of time that you get to watch
all of the movies, or you have to like wait in virtual lines.
I think you have to wait in virtual lines. I think they said it's like even virtually there's a cap for how many people are in line.
It was like that for South by last year. Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Sundance first. But yeah, what? And when is it happening?
I think it starts the 20th, but it's so weird because I was like, for some reason I was like, there's no way I can do that. But it just like it seemed like there was a lot of barriers to it. Just mentally, I was like, yeah, there's no way I could be able to watch all these movies at Sundance. But from what I can tell, no one is stopping me. Literally no one is stopping me from just watching movies at Sundance.
That'd be cool.
So I might do that because I have nothing else to do.
Might as well. You get to go to Sundance. I'll go to South by. Okay, so that's a thing. I guess we can explain. We didn't explain. But for, I guess, those of you that are not, like, don't really keep up with the film festival news, Sundance, because of the surge of COVID cases, Sundance went fully virtual, which is great for the reason that you're saying, like, you get to actually go this time and watch movies that you otherwise would have not been able to or had to wait. But sad thing is Sundance is such a big, it's like one of the biggest ones that happen. And it kicks off the festival year, I think. And a lot of filmmakers, they get to go and network and, you know, show their movie. It's an experience that you otherwise can't replicate, you know, like it's a one of a kind thing, and it's, you know, taken away from them this year. So that sucks, but I'm glad that this is happening though, because you get to, I mean, I'm assuming the money goes to, you know, the Sundance organization, which helps out. They have a lot of workshops and stuff that help out filmmakers that you know, are wanting to make their movie. And so, I mean, I don't know, pros and cons, but it did make me it made me very nervous about South by this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
but that's in March, right? Early March?
Yeah, so there is time. But like if you think about last year, there was a huge surge after the holidays, right? And everybody was really nervous. But March was when I got my vaccine. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, 1 year I'll be able to go. And even if this year, if it's fully virtual, you know what? I still booked an Airbnb in Austin. So worst case scenario, I get a spring break, and I have the days off already. So like worst case scenario,
use it.
I just watch all the movies in Austin anyways. Like, and also maybe I just like go to a friend's house and they get to watch them with me. You know, like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because I was talking to Kayla about it, and I was like, it'd be cool to go to South by this year, because it's like my last year in Texas. Mm-hmm. But tickets are just expensive. And then that's why I was looking up at Sundance. But I think even before they went fully virtual, they still had, you know, it was like both in person and virtual. But
yeah. And I mean, I think South by said they emailed everybody after that happened, and they said that they're still going to do like some sort of hybrid stuff where people can go online, or I don't know. And honestly, they're not going to, it's probably going to be like 2020, where they just make the call a few weeks before. And like, at least for me, like I said, it's not that big of a deal because I live in Texas anyways. So like, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it just makes me nervous for people that, I don't know, just it'll suck, but I've experienced a virtual South by, and it's not that bad. And I still got to meet some, you know, like if you try, like I did still get to like talk to and meet some filmmakers. So it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't all bad, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. If you actually if you do it, then that'd be really cool. And maybe I'll look and see. Maybe I can do like one day, but probably not. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I wonder what the overlap is with South by. Probably not a lot. Like I don't want to pay $100 to see movies that I'm going to see already, but I don't think there's a lot of overlap.
Right. Yeah, the main one I saw was The Worst Person in the World, a showing one day.
Oh yeah, what movies are you eyeballing? Is that the only one?
That's the main one. I was skimming through. I was mainly looking through the shorts to see if the one that I helped fund was in it, but I don't think it was. But I'd have to relook at them. But
one
what
year
have you
should
watched?
Go to South by.
Yeah, 1 year for sure I will.
You know, the next year, because the deal that they gave us, I think I told you the deal that they gave us because they canceled was that we get to defer. So like I deferred to this year, but then the next year I get half off, I think.
Very nice.
So I probably still will go again. We'll see.
Depends on your experience, or?
No, like I don't know. Depends on if I want to save up for that, because it's a lot. It's still a lot. Like I paid more than I would like to admit for this one, but half off is not bad.
True. Well, what have you watched since
the 11 movies?
Yeah, like last episode we didn't get to talk about them because it was our top 10, so we have quite a bit that we have stacked up to talk about.
So I won't really say anything about. Like, I watched the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter. It was fine. You know, it was like what I expected. Oh, and by the way, we started watching that tournament thing that you talked about.
Oh yeah,
not good. I don't know. It just like it seemed like they told the producers were like, no matter if you know the answer or not, just like act like you have to discuss it with your team. And
that's
it's just
what I
annoying.
said to Kayla, because I was like, if I
this,
if I was there, I would just say it. I would just say, yeah, it's this because I know it. Like,
yeah, but I think the producers were like, tell us why you chose this answer. And then they like wanted to. I feel bad saying this, but they wanted to like how game shows do, where they're like, tell us about yourself, and I just fast forwarded through that. Sebastian's like, well, I want to know. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm a bad person. But yeah, it wasn't good. Some of it, when it gets to the end, I don't know if you watched a full episode. When it got to the end, oh sorry,
I only watched the last 2 episodes, but I watched them all the way through. Yeah.
Well, I only watched the first episode, but when they get to the end, the questions are harder and it is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And
because there was one where it was like
crew involved.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was one where they were like, you remember that scene where Dumbledore just like bursts into his office and he's like, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Like, he gets really pissed, and that lady's really tall, so she like hits the lantern out of the way. And the question, and they showed that scene, and the question was, what does she hit? Like, a fucking lantern. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways, it was just like not good. I would not recommend that tournament. I watched Encanto for the second time because I had been hearing so many TikTok audios of it. And it holds up. I think I gave it the same star rating though. Like, I didn't think it was a little bit better. I still agree with my criticisms of the ending.
True. Yeah, I feel the same way. I rewatched it as well.
But it's a fun time. Like, I told Sebastian too, like, I watched it without him. And I told him, like, if you want to watch it again, I'll watch it with you. And I truly meant that. Like, I wouldn't have minded. It's like a good movie to put on the background. Only one of the songs is good though. I still agree with that. But yeah. I watched a rom-com called The Broken Hearts Gallery, and nothing much to say about that. It was like, it did what it had to do, you know, what you want a rom-com to do. Mm-hmm. Very predictable. But the characters were like, the setting, you know, like how all rom-coms can kind of be like copy and paste. Like, this one was a little bit different, which I appreciated. Obviously watched The Lost Daughter, but we're going to talk about that. Okay, I watched Censor. Maybe I need to watch it again. I liked it, but I just think, I don't know what, it just didn't do it for me, you know? Like, I feel like it could have been scarier, maybe.
Yeah,
it could have been a little bit more. The visuals of like, or sorry, go on.
I think it kind of fell apart at the end.
Yeah.
Especially like the last sequence where like it's like VHS kind of. It's kind of just like kind of made me roll my eyes. I was like, yeah, this is a little bit weird.
Exactly. I wish I would have liked it, but then I was thinking like, why? Either I wanted this to be the movie the entire time, or I wanted like it didn't have the same energy. And another thing too, and maybe this is like too, maybe this is too much, or this is like not, or I don't know. But I think if you're gonna make a movie where where this person is supposed to be watching like the most horrific movies that are banned, then make the movies a little bit more horrific. You know, because like the scenes that we saw, I was like, this is not that bad.
Well, it was like the 80s, right?
Yeah, but
or 90s.
Still.
So like for the time,
but for a movie to be banned, think about the movies in our time that have been banned by countries. They've been pretty bad. True. So like, that was my only, I guess, gripe is like, this is not. It would have been cool if it was like a Sinister, where like the movie itself is pretty good, but the highlights are the films that you see. Oh. And I can't remember a single one. So
that's true. They all do. I like together.
Yeah, and I love the concept. I really love the concept, and so I was really hooked. But like you said, it didn't really deliver for me. I did add it. It made me inspired me to add a new tag though. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know.
No.
I'm assuming you can't see, but I put recommended by Anthony. That's a new tag.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Because I saw people make lists of that, of like movies to recommend, and maybe I'll do that where like people can comment on the list.
That's what I have.
Oh, you do? But do people like recommend a lot of stuff? That's what I figured, and I was like,
no one has recommended, but I figured as hopefully get a little bit bigger, people will. Because I've seen some.
Well, you know what you can do? You can add them yourself, right? Like you can just like, if I tell you, oh, you should watch this movie, just add it yourself and then comment saying like added blank because Livia recommended it.
I will do that. That's a good idea.
That's what I was gonna do because people, if I tell them put it on my Letterboxd and comment, they're never gonna do it. But if they tell me, then I'll do that.
Oh, that's fair.
Anyways, yes, that's a new tag that I have. I saw another movie called Friends with Money. It came out in 2006. It has a really good cast. Frances McDormand, Jennifer Aniston, you know, more people. Joan Cusack. And it was, I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just about friends that have money. One of them doesn't. And it's just kind of, how do I describe it? It's kind of like, I always categorize these movies like, you saw The Squid and the Whale, right? Where it's just like, there's no real like storyline. There's like a theme sort of, but it's just a bunch of different stories kind of like about this one theme. It's like that. And
okay,
I didn't care for it as much. There is a scene that Frances McDormand, she's just really good in it, but like, of course, where she's at an Old Navy and she gets mad because she thinks that somebody cut in line in front of her, and that's like the best scene in the movie. And she also, her character just like refuses to wash her hair, which is really funny to me. Other than that, it wasn't that good though. I watched a horror movie called The Vigil. I think this is on... Oh yeah,
I saw this. I haven't seen
Hulu.
it, but I guess.
It's interesting. It did rely... Somebody put this in their review, and I agree that I feel like it did rely on audio too much for jump scares. And yeah, overall,
that's
it just like...
kind of.
Yeah, and the story was interesting. It's based on Jewish folklore where I think when somebody dies, somebody from your, I guess, I don't know what you would call it. I would say just congregation, I guess, comes and like watches the body overnight. It's just like a tradition. And so, of course, that's like a really good baseline for a horror film. And I wish it was a little bit better. I think it was good. Just I was hoping for a little bit more, kind of like Censor, where it was like started off great, there. Yeah, but Censor, the acting was good, and this one the acting was not that great. But I'm excited to hopefully see more Jewish folklore and horror films because I thought it was really well done. I watched Dead Poet Society for the first time.
Okay, I've had this on my watch list for quite some time.
It's pretty. Solid? It's worth. Yeah, the hype. I was gonna say it's pretty good. Of course it is. The hype is pretty is real for this one, I guess. Yeah. It was. I don't want to spoil anything. I won't spoil anything. But it's just I felt a lot more than I thought I would because like I don't know what you think if you know anything about this movie, but I thought it was just like Nothing. About boys in a private school, like a boarding kind of school, but it's like not that. Well, it is that, but it's like so much more. I liked it though. I think you'll like it. I think you'll really like it.
I know absolutely nothing. Like in my mind, I
knew nothing either. Yeah.
That movie with Good Will Hunting just for the poster for some reason.
Probably because Robin Williams in it. I thought, and I did think that I was going to see a young Matt Damon, but I was like, no, this is a wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
I think you'll like it, though. I think you really like it. I gave it 4.5 stars. So
I was surprised because I don't see a lot of high-rated movies. So I was like, I don't think I had it like officially in my watch list, but like on Letterboxd, but I added it after that.
It's pretty good. I know. I was scrolling through. I was showing Sebastian the app, and I was scrolling through, and it's like all 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm a little harsh. I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Which,
okay. Worth it?
Very worth it. It's pretty good. I thought it was going to be boring. And so I watched it without Sebastian because we've seen the trailer so many times that it's just like a movie that I told him like we have to watch it and we never did. So I watched it without him because I was like, it's probably going to be boring. You know, it's about like, no offense, I guess, to religious people, but it's about, you know, this religious couple and, you know, they were, I think, and they like get arrested or, you know, in the trailer it shows like that they, not they get arrested, but they like are not, you know, a bunch of fraud and whatnot, like stuff that kind of happens a lot in churches. And so I thought it would be kind of boring, but it really isn't. I think the performances, or at least from Jessica Chastain, is really good. The story's interesting. It's not like what I thought. And I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. That one was a 3-star. I thought it would be like a 1.5 or a 2, but it's a 3.
Solid 3-star.
Pretty good. Yeah.
And that's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just put on another HBO Max one, and this is the one I saw before Spencer, is a movie called All I See Is You. Another, I don't know. I think I put like another case of wasted potential because it's an interesting concept, which is same with Censor and The Vigil, where Blake Lively plays a woman who was, when she was younger, she got in an accident that made her blind. And she was able to get, or she got a surgery that, you know, restored sight in I think one of her eyes. And she's married to this guy that she met when she was blind because she was obviously made blind whenever she was younger. And because of like, it just talks, it deals with like the changes in her relationship because of the fact that she can see now. And like the dynamic is shifting because, you know, obviously he would have to take care of her a lot and now he doesn't have to. And so, yeah. So interesting. The ending I didn't like because it felt too ambiguous where I was like, what's happening? But yeah, 2-star.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you've seen?
Yes. I know you've seen a lot more, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, I started with the Squid and the Whale. I mean, you described it pretty, like, that's how I would put it, but it was, you know, just, I think in my review, I put something, like, to the effect of, like, that moment where you realize your parents are, like, humans and are flawed is pretty scary, and it captured it pretty well. And then I watched Zola,
yeah.
which I've been meaning to get around to because I read the thread that it's based on a really long time ago. I think when it came out, I just never got around to it. But I think I wish it got more of the details that like happened like according to her in the thread. Like there's some like crazy ideas in that or events that aren't really portrayed in the movie, but it was a pretty interesting time watching that. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I like especially the woman at the very end that's with that guy. The one, I think one of the funniest moments in film last year is when Nicholas Braun's character, the one that's like the one that's with the girl. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The, like, white boy. When he's like, I'm going to jump off he's like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to jump off the balcony. And she says, do it.
Yeah.
I laughed so fucking hard.
That was really funny.
Yeah, I love that movie. Very unique.
Yeah. Then I watched Short Term 12, which is on your
Have you never seen it?
I'd never seen it before.
Classic.
Yeah, I thought it was like very nice and like as far as like the script, it was well contained. It kind of like one of the themes in the movie reminds me of The Lost Daughter. We'll talk about that more. But I did not know Lakeith Stanfield was in it.
So many people. I think Caitlin Dever, like the girl that one of the main girls, the girl that's the newest girl, she was in this interview for, I think it was for that new show she's in, and this guy was talking about that, and he was like, but what a like bad cast, right? Like what happened to all those people? Because there's like just so many people. Like he was joking, obviously, because he's like, I wonder what happened to them. Because it's a cast, it's like so fucking stacked. I think like like 2, 3 of those people have won Oscars. It's so fun. I love that movie. It's also the same. The director, I think, is the same director as Shang-Chi.
Yes, I was looking at that.
It's his first movie, I think.
Insane.
So
and
good.
Just
and it's
Mercy.
based on it's based on a short that he made that also has Lakeith Stanfield in it. So I think he was that's like the first time I've seen him in anything.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It was one of the first indies that I like found.
I noticed in the opening credits it said Keith Stanfield.
Yeah,
I could be very wrong.
It might have, but
interesting.
Maybe he changed it.
But
or maybe he that's when he got advice that he should have like instead of like Keith, it should be Keith.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I've just been meaning to watch that one since I think it's on your top 4, your favorites. Mm-hmm. I can see why. Well written, amazing acting. Then I watched a bunch of, I guess 2, like kind of indies on Netflix. Mm-hmm. One called Slight, which interesting premise because it's like a magician who's also like a drug dealer, but then it gets really weird at the end because it's like I honestly don't even know. I really wanted to like it, but it's just weird.
I've seen the trailer for it. Is it not good?
No, it kind of reminded me of Win It All.
Oh, okay.
So just like, you have, but like instead of gambling to get money back, it's using magic.
Oh God.
But like David Blaine types, like really intense magic. I don't know. It's really weird.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
It's also like the romance in it is not believable because it's been like 2 days that this lady's known him.
Oh, and she loves him or something?
Yeah, and she like moves in with him. I get why she moves in because like she has her own issues, but it's a lot. It's weird.
Okay.
But that was on Netflix, and then I watched Blue Jay, which is also.
Oh, I love that movie.
I thought it was okay. Like it wasn't until the end where I was like, okay, this is pretty good, but I just felt like how long it took to get to that idea of like why their relationship fell apart was just.
You can't just jump into that.
I guess, but I don't know. To me, like it didn't make sense as to why they were making this. Why she was like following along in that like fantasy that they had made so long ago. Like it was a recording and they were like revisiting all that. I don't know. Then I had a bunch of rewatches, like Fantastic Beasts because Kayla wanted to. Encanto. Rewatched The Last Duel with Kayla's family. Spider-Man Homecoming. Escape Room. Decent movies. Like nothing. I mean, Last Duel is really good. Mm-hmm. But I also rewatched Tron Legacy, which I've been meaning to rewatch because I saw for some reason at Target or whenever I could go out, it was negative, that they had that soundtrack on vinyl. And it just put me back. I was like, why? Like, I have some of the songs in my like playlist on Spotify, but it's just so weird that they have that from a movie that came out in 2010. Anyways, it's amazing.
I did, because I guess sidebar, but it was Sebastian's birthday, so I got him a couple of things from Target. And I saw it because I got him. By the way, I don't know if you've gotten vinyls at Target, but they have a lot of like Target only releases that where the vinyls, I don't know if this matters to you, but they have like they're like gold or blue, or they have like the vinyls
it's
aren't
like
just
clear.
like black. Yeah, exactly. So I got him Purple Rain because it's a purple vinyl, and then a Leon Bridges album because it's gold. And so
Ooh.
highly recommend. And the Prince one had a poster in it. So I highly recommend buying vinyls from Target.
Well, yeah, the inside one was like a transparent yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this one is like it's like an opaque blue or like clear blue.
Yeah, exactly.
But I could see it, like watching it, I can see like it's good sci-fi, but I don't know, it just like, for me, I just got lost in it. And that movie's I only think it's great because of like the visuals are really cool, like when they're on the grid and all that, and just soundtrack is just amazing.
By the way, did you know that the Her soundtrack is on Spotify again? Or
Really?
I guess it never was, but now it is, yeah. Because we're listening to the vinyl, and Sebastian's like, well, if they released a vinyl, I feel like it probably is on Spotify, and it is, and he's very excited.
I did not know that. That's very exciting to me because there were like some songs that I tried to find, and like I think I have like a tab open on my phone to like a SoundCloud where it's there. But
well,
that is exciting.
There you go. I think only you and Sebastian were like the people that that needed to know this.
Target audience for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last two I'll mention. One, Kayla's dad recommended. It's called The Faculty. Came out in '98. Have you ever seen it?
But I've heard about it. I think Avital did it on. He's right behind you. I think it's a horror film, right, or no?
Yeah, it's Robert
one.
Rodriguez. It's pretty funny. I mean, it's like a ridiculous concept, pretty crazy twist. But it was just a fun time. Then the last one I'll mention is The Breaker Upperers, which is also on Netflix.
That's a terrible title.
It kind of is. It's made by the same ladies that were in What We Do in the Shadows. So the one who like wanted to become a vampire and was like his assistant.
Okay.
Her and then another lady. I don't know who she was in it, but I thought it was okay. Like I liked the first bit where like we find out like what they do for a living, like our two main characters. Other than that, it was like pretty standard. It's on Netflix. It's a good movie to put on in the background, which sad to say.
Well, it has a 3.0 on Letterboxd, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think I gave it 2, just like because, like I said, I think the last 2/3 of that movie are just kind of boilerplate. Friendship falls apart, gets back together.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler, I guess, but I don't think anyone's new to that template of a movie.
Yeah.
And then Lost Daughter and Spencer. That's all I got.
All right. I have a recommendation. I don't know if we want to make this part of it. If you liked Short Term 12 and what was the one you talked about? Oh, Blue Jay, but you want something a little different. Mark Duplass's brother, Jay Duplass, is in a movie called Outside In. And it has Ben Schwartz is in it too.
Oh, really?
But,
I'm in.
And it's directed by the late Lynn Shelton. I don't know if you saw, like, she was an India director that died, like, I think last year or 2 years ago.
In 2020.
All of her movies are very, very good. But
I have a couple of hers, like on my saved on Netflix because I use that feature as well, like Sort of Trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I guess for the audience, the premises or the plot is an ex-con struggling to readjust to his life in a small town, forms an intense bond with his former high school teacher, played by Edie Falco. It's pretty good. I think you'd like it. Yeah, I forgot that you haven't seen a lot of indies, have you?
No, not really. But I'm kind of dipping my toe into it, especially on Netflix, because they make it hard to watch indies.
Netflix, they make it hard to watch anything. It's hard to find anything on. That was like how this podcast was born, because that a lot of people don't know anything that's on Netflix, but I don't blame them because they make it so fucking hard to find shit.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Well, maybe I'll try to do that. I'll try to have a recommendation for something to stream. I think it's on Netflix. You said it's on Netflix, right? Should be.
The movie you just
That's where
recommended?
I
I
watched
don't know.
Yeah. All right. Are we going to do the family tree?
I don't know. We feeling it?
I thought we were going to do it this year and like keep track, or do you want to start that next time?
Oh, no. Yeah, this is a good place to start it.
Ready?
Ready.
Hugh Jackman.
This might be pretty easy because I chose Jesse Eisenberg. Okay. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's go. Okay. I'll go first. So, Jesse Eisenberg was in The Social Network with Andrew Garfield.
Okay, that's one.
Who was in Spider-Man No Way Home with Tom Holland. Who was in Spider-Man Far From Home with Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal was in Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. So that's 4?
Yep, that's 4. All right, I have it in 3.
That's quite a bit.
But, I don't know if I got this right, though. Fuck, it's okay.
Oh, I guess that's a spoiler for Spider-Man No Way Home. Andrew Garfield's in it.
I mean, at this point.
Sure.
Come on. Well, first of all, I almost used Woody Harrelson. And that's when I realized that he was in Zombieland, and Now You See Me with Jessica Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that. But anyways. Okay, but I didn't even use him. So Hugh Jackman is in X-Men with James Marsden. James Marsden is in Enchanted with Amy Adams. Amy Adams is in, Batman vs. Superman? Is that what it's called?
There is a subtitle.
Is it Dawn of Justice? No. Yeah.
Yes.
With Jesse Eisenberg.
Solid.
I didn't even know. I forgot Amy Adams was in that fucking movie. That stupid fucking movie.
She is.
Let me see. Oh.
That was a 5-minute timer.
What am I gonna make you watch?
I was trying to use that new movie that came out with Hugh Jackman, the Reminiscence with Rebecca Ferguson.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Why would you want to use that?
I don't know. Just because it'd be funny. Because that movie seems dumb.
Well, then watch that movie. There you go. Reminiscence. How do you fucking say it? Titles, I don't understand why they use titles like that. Because that's what it looks like, right? Reminiscence? Reminiscence?
Reminiscence.
There you go. Watch that one.
Okay. Sad. Well, let's cut to the break. When we get back, we're talking Spencer and the Last Daughter.
During her Christmas holidays with the royal family in Norfolk, England, Diana Spencer, struggling with mental health problems, decides to end her decade-long marriage to Prince Charles in Spencer. Directed by Pablo Larraín, written by Stephen Knight, starring Kristen Stewart, Timothy Spall, and Jack Farthing.
Critics gave it a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb and 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. And on Letterboxd, it has an average of a 3.8 star rating. That's a little bit lower than I was anticipating. Not Letterboxd, but the other two.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's been hyping this movie up a lot. And I kind of agree with Letterboxd's review.
I feel like people hype it up not for the movie itself, but for Kristen Stewart, which I
for sure. Yeah, she was really.
I mean,
good.
that's my take, but I don't know. Yeah, I overall I liked it. I saw that you didn't really like it as much, right? You thought it was like,
solid movie.
Yeah,
I mainly liked the soundtrack or the score. I was very surprised by the jazz, but I think it fit pretty well.
Have you seen Jackie?
No.
Okay. I think I saw a lot of people say this too, but it feels like a companion piece to that because this is the same director. It's also talking about a woman that's kind of stuck in the same sort of situation, but it's obviously about Jackie Kennedy. But I like this one a little bit more because I think it also pairs well. This sounds bad, but it also like, I don't know if you saw or if you're interested at all in what happened to Meghan Markle and how like why her and her husband left and just like, what happened. And it's almost exactly what they're showing in this movie where she felt trapped. She felt like a prisoner. She also struggled with mental health. She was suicidal at one point. And I think knowing that, I think it made this movie maybe a little bit more interesting or captivating to me. So maybe that's why you probably, which I don't blame you for not being as interested in like the story part of it if you don't really know anything about Diana. Yeah, I don't know what you know about Diana.
Little to nothing. Like I know obviously about her death. Yeah, but I just don't know enough about the royal family. Like I do know everyone knows about the Oprah interview, right? Yeah. Where we found out a lot about that. But just like the royal family to me as like as a being is just it's just weird. So I just don't know enough.
And I think this is the first time, at least I've seen, where they're portrayed kind of probably how it actually is like to be in the royal family. Because I don't know, I don't watch The Crown, but I remember when I watched it, I watched a couple of episodes and then I stopped. But they do show a little bit more of like, they show conflict obviously, but they don't show the haunting aspect of what it's like to be so alone in like, especially as an outsider, because it mostly focuses on the family itself. But to be somebody that married into this,
that must be daunting.
Exactly. But yeah, I have a few. This one I have more notes than for the Lost Daughter. But first, I like seeing her with her kids, and I especially liked it more whenever I realized, you know, that scene where they're just like sitting by, I think it's like the fireplace or in front of a candle or something, and they're talking about, they're like playing this little game that apparently was all improvised, which I liked a lot.
Wow, that's interesting. Because that was probably my favorite. That and like the sequence where she goes back to the house, those were probably my favorite sequences, just because like I could tell that she was a good mother. Yeah,
same. And that's why I liked it, because I feel like, and I didn't realize that the director and the writer, I think, talked to a lot of people that knew the family. So I think they got that at least right, that she was a really good mom. And I you could tell that too, just from that Oprah interview. I mean, the way that he knew, like he would compare their situation a lot to what happened to her. And he just seems so, I don't know. If you look at interviews of his mom, it just seems so much like her, of like how he was calling them out and how he like recognized what was happening. Yeah. So that was cool. I don't know. Like I said, I think it just looks so lonely. Like I think they got the loneliness really right, of how she was just like talking to a coat. Honestly, I think I would too if I had to live like that. And it's such an interesting problem to have too, because in the back of your mind, you're like, you don't have to worry about anything. They lay out all of the clothes that you want to wear, and they're beautiful. Like the outfits she had were amazing.
Beautiful.
You don't
gowns.
have to worry about food. They make your favorite food. You know, all these things that you can imagine if she tried to tell people, I hate my life, that they're like, girl, you're a royal. What are you talking about?
You get it all laid out for you.
Yeah. But I love that they kind of they did make it look like a fucking nightmare. It looks like after watching this, I mean, before I would have been like, no, why the fuck would I want to do that? But after watching this, I'd be like, what the hell? Why would you want to live this life if you're not born into it? If you're not forced to?
Especially because, you know, the house is obviously like ridiculously nice, but it just felt so empty.
Yeah.
And
she
bland.
And yeah. And I don't know, just the situation she was trapped in too, because like her husband was cheating on her. And I like how they did that, because they never say her name. I mean, kind of everybody, well, I guess not you, but everybody knows what happened with that. Like his wife now, the Camilla lady, the lady
I
that
did
you
my
see.
research.
Oh, okay.
I saw.
Yeah, that's who he cheated on her with. Yeah, I don't know. He had some nerve to cheat on anybody, honestly, but a woman like that, wild.
Yeah.
And then I like the little subtleties of like, she asked like, was she at church to the kid, and he's like, who? And the pearls thing, and yeah, and I think I didn't realize until I read it on IMDb, but they never say her name, which I kind of like, where she's like, she just asks about her. She's like, well, and we see her once, but she never talks, like nothing. And I really like that.
Yeah, that's good, because not her story. She doesn't need to. Yeah. And like everyone knows.
Exactly.
Besides dumb little 21-year-olds.
Yeah, but you probably understood what was happening, right? Even if.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially when they were like, you know, why would you buy us? Like, why would you buy her the same, like, pearls?
Truly. I mean, like, fellas, if you're going to cheat, don't buy her the same fucking gift. Are you kidding me? Especially in the public eye. And he knew what he was fucking doing, too. Oh, that's so disgusting. Another thing, too, it's so ridiculous. I mostly have comments on, like, the situation she was in. That they watch every fucking thing she does. She can't take a shit without somebody in the palace talking about it. Like, it's so ridiculous. I can't. Of course she went in. Of course she had mental health issues. Of course. That's such a wild life to live. I mean, you walk into your room because they keep telling her to close her close her curtains. Can you imagine a palace having blinds, a castle with blinds? Like, they tell her, close your curtains because you're just, like, inviting people to take pictures. Well, tell them to stop fucking taking pictures. Like, what?
Get better security.
Exactly. So they fucking, like, basically stapled her curtain shut.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's so crazy that, like, everyone, like, who was working for the family was like, yeah, we know everything. So you better watch, like, what you do. Mm-hmm. Like, just because, like, you can just imagine, like, from her perspective, just like she filling in the blanks of like what they know, because like that's basically what they were telling them, like her, you know, like the chef was like, you know, these walls are very thin. Yeah, you know, we know shit. That's just
I did like the point he said though, where he's like, he kind of said, at least to me, it seemed like he was saying that they don't. It's not that they're gossiping, like they gossip about everybody else, but for her, they're just worried. And that's why they keep telling each other stuff, because they're like, girl, like there's something wrong, and like nobody else cares but them, because she really was. I mean, I think that's what she was. I don't know if people said this about her when she was alive, but that's what she's known as. Is she was like the princess of the people, because she was a regular person and she acted like a regular person. So I at least liked that, you know, that she thought they were just like talking shit, but when genuinely they were just like, we don't know what to do. Because what do you do in that situation? If you're the lady that's supposed to dress her and she doesn't want to be dressed, but like the prince that is going to be king one day tells you, make sure she wears this dress, then like, what do you do? And you know it's killing her. You like, you know, I mean, I was talking about this like thing with Sebastian, but there is this like weird, and there's so many. I'm glad that you chose, because you're the person that picked these movies together, and I don't think you knew that you were going to stumble upon a theme of like just the horror stories of just women living their lives, of how difficult it is, you know? But the one thing I was telling Sebastian about is like, I think obviously gender is a construct, but I do think that the way that, because there is a binary that we live in and that we're raised in, that women are raised to you know, a certain way, that we have an instinct, or maybe we have it in general. But I think that we have an instinct where if I see another woman struggling, or if I see something, like if I was in the situation, like those women that were in the situation that were helping her, they knew something was happening, and they knew like exactly what was wrong with her, but they couldn't do anything. And so I think one of the themes, or one of the I guess similarities I saw in this movie and The Lost Daughter, is just that instinct of women, just like that we just know when shit is happening, and that's just like what we're bred to do. We're bred to be mothers. We're bred to know when stuff is happening. Like I told Sebastian, I can communicate with a woman with just like a fucking look, because I don't think guys are taught to do that, so you guys don't really know how. But yeah, and it's like a survival thing, but it's like a whole thing. But anyways, I just think I guess it's hard to, at first I was kind of angry at the, you know, the workers or the servants in their, in their palace, or I don't know what you call it, a palace. What do you call it? I guess.
Big ass house.
Yeah. I at first I was angry at them, but like, honestly, what could they have done?
Yeah, not much.
Other than their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk more about it. About that one guy who I don't know his role.
I don't either, but I don't know.
Traditions master or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I made another note about how I couldn't stop thinking about the parallels of Diana and Meghan Markle, because I understand back in the day when the people that worked at the palace like couldn't really do anything, but what happened, like it felt like Diana knew she couldn't go to anybody, so she just like dealt with it on her own, and she left on her own. But with Meghan Markle, like she told them what was happening to her, and it's not like she wanted to leave, right? She just like was like, hey, this is happening and I need help, and they refused to give it to her because of the, like, you know, the images that, or like the status and of the crown and whatnot, which is just so fucking sad. Especially they know what happened to Diana, like what this could end with, and that's what Harry was saying. Like they knew what was going to happen, especially because that scene at the pool table where I think it was at the pool table where she's like, they take a lot of pictures, yeah, but they're taking them of only me, it feels like. And it's the same with Meghan, where she was kind of alluding to the fact that they only cared about whenever she did stuff wrong, and they never said anything about the other girl. What's her name? The other wife. What the fuck is her name? I mean, who cares, I guess. What's her name?
Yeah.
You know?
Kate?
Kate, yes.
Something.
Like, they never take pictures of Kate. They never care about what she's doing. Every time they bring her up, it's like in such a good light. And for Meghan, they're like, fuck you. We're gonna like torture you and always care about what you and your son and your husband, you know, it just, I don't know. It feels even more gross after watching this movie that they just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, especially with the history.
Yeah. Yeah, and my last note was, this is 100% a horror film. That was my review, I think. I said if somebody told me this is a horror film, I would have watched it like way sooner.
Yeah, I was
to me it was
surprised.
Very I didn't think they'd do that, especially because Jackie is not, because I saw that and it's not that at all. It's more of like a moody piece, but it's not.
Yeah, this one's definitely more
scary.
like psychological. I mean,
thriller.
Yeah, especially where she goes back to her house and
yeah, I love that.
contemplates suicide. and it just like all the cuts between her good moments in her life. That's pretty scary, especially to that. You know, you have like your kids there, and even then, like, I don't know, she just didn't have like a good support system because we'll see that theme in The Lost Daughter, but she had to be 100% for her kids all the time.
Yeah, I can't imagine that situation of trying to be, and it's hard enough to be a mom. So to be a princess and all that shit you have to do and be a mom. And it feels like they kind of wanted to outsource that too. They didn't want her to do anything, really.
Right.
I don't know. So weird.
And that pool table conversation, I think that's where he's Prince Charles is like, that's his name, right? Prince Charles? Where he's like, you need to have two lives, two people,
you need to be
like
two
your
people.
your private life and like your public, which I feel like for a guy, it's a little bit easier because we do like, or at least for me, like compartmentalize things. But that's just like a really harsh thing to say. Like whatever you're going through, just give it to your other self. Like split up your time.
And it kind of goes into The Lost Daughter a little bit more, but like when it comes to being like for a prince, you don't have to do much, you know? It doesn't seem like you have to like do all these, you don't have to care about what you wear. You don't have to care about all these other things. You don't have to be a good dad when you're a man is honestly just like showing up. You know, that's what society has kind of deemed a good dad, is that he like, you know, they have a roof under their head, so like he's a good dad. But like moms, we don't get away with that shit. I'm not a mom, but you know, women don't get away with that shit when we're moms. So like,
yeah,
it's not as simple as he's saying. Like she can't just like compartmentalize like that because she's so many, her one self is so many other people. So to be like, well, just be a public person too. Well, I can't fucking do that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And I think he even mentions, you know, like, well, I didn't like shooting as a kid.
Then don't do it.
Like, all right, dude. That's like one thing.
And then the weighing yourself bit too. Holy shit. Because I didn't realize this, but when I was doing research, Diana had an eating disorder. So to like,
okay,
I don't know if they talked about that in the movie specifically, but I know they allude to all the problems that she had.
I think they kind of, especially Prince Charles like was an ass during that one like breakfast where he was like people put a lot of work into this, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't throw it up before the church bell rings
I forgot
or
about
whatever.
that. Yeah.
I was like,
about she did.
This dude's an ass. I was like, this dude sucks.
But that's the thing, like they don't give any shits about what's happening to her. It kind of reminds me of like the stories of like mental health when it comes to being being a person of color. Like I don't want to say that this is the experience in my family at all. Like I don't want to make it seem like I'm like projecting that. But I've heard stories, and I know obviously of how a lot of families are like, that's not real. Like you're fine. And it kind of is like that, right? That's what it felt like. And I feel like that's why it felt so relatable, or it felt like something that I've heard about personally, because I have, you know, obviously a lot of friends, a lot of people of color in my life, and they've dealt with their own various mental health issues, and their families sometimes don't think it's real, or like, they'll put them in situations like this where you're weighing yourself for a stupid tradition when like that can, if I went to a family dinner and they were like, let's weigh yourself first, I would leave. That would fuck me up for a week, and just so I can make sure that people think I had a good time because I gained 3 pounds. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That little piece of it, I was like, ugh. And yeah, like you said, just the what is the word? Like he pushed it off. What is that? The brushing off of her of something that is like, eating disorders can fucking kill you. And he's just like, just suck it up. Don't throw it up because people have worked hard on that. Don't you think she thinks about that? Like, don't you think she knows this? And she, like, when she was walking, when she was trying to go to dinner, she was trying so hard to go to that dinner, and she kept saying they made it just for me. I think she was trying to convince herself to go and eat because it was made specifically for her, and she cares about the people that made it, but she just couldn't fucking do it. And so to tell her that you're selfish and that you're like, don't throw it up, it just makes her hate herself even more than she already does. You're doing nothing to help her.
And that chef was like, I made you, like, I'll make it myself, your favorite meal.
And then at the end,
nice guy.
When she left, he didn't say anything about it. He didn't make her feel bad at all. He just was like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so I want to talk a little bit about I have a question at the end that we can talk about, but before we do that, I do want to talk about Anne Boleyn because she's such a big part of this. Where they talk about it a lot, so I don't want to get too into it about how she was beheaded because her husband accused her of cheating, of like all this other stuff. Like if you look on Wikipedia, she was accused of a ton of shit. But in reality, I think it's because he was cheating and he didn't want her anymore, so he just had her beheaded basically. So the only reason I kind of know about Anne Boleyn is because Anne Marie Tendler, who is John Mulaney's ex-wife, has been using her as a lot of her inspiration for a lot of her I think photography work that she's been doing. And it's very interesting because somebody I saw on TikTok, I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll try to find it and link it. She explained the symbolism of Anne Boleyn and why it's so relevant to Anne Marie Tendler's recent, life story, and how one of the reasons that people think that her husband cheated on her and married another woman is because Anne Boleyn couldn't produce a son. I don't know if she couldn't have kids, but she couldn't at least produce a son. And so obviously when you can speculate what you want about the whole John Mulaney stuff, I'm not here to do that. But like, there's a lot of, if you learn about this story, there's a lot of parallels. And that's what this person was pointing out. And the same with Diana, how like, she pointed out obviously that he cheated and he had her beheaded. And obviously like, I mean, Prince Charles is an asshole, but he's not, a murderer. So he wasn't going to have her beheaded. But like, it is kind of it felt a little bit the same where he was not helping her when the paparazzi was coming, the media over there, which are fucking ruthless, were coming after her. Like he didn't help anything at all. And, and the reason that she was not obsessed with her, but the reason that she kept referencing her and seeing her was mostly because somebody left her a book about her, I think, right? And we found out at the end that it was that guy. Why do you think he left her that? Do you think he was trying to help her? And he was basically telling her, you need to leave him because if not, then you're going to be beheaded in the town square.
Maybe. I could see that, but I don't know, like, because then it's like kind of mixed messages because he like at that on those stairs, he basically told her the opposite, right? It was just to like suck it up, like if not do it for the people that are like dying for you, even though that's not like what you wanted at all. I could see it maybe as a threat, like this is what will happen. This is a cautionary tale.
I don't know. It felt like a warning to me, where he was like, that a lot of the bad stuff was happening because Charles wanted to push her out. Maybe not. Maybe that's speculation, but that's what it felt like. But I don't know. I like the ambiguity of it, though.
Oh, for sure. To me, it seems almost like a threat because I mean, obviously, like we learned that he was like he bled for the queen and for the royal family, so he has like a lot of emotional tie-in as to like how it is they are perceived, and if he wants her out, just like Charles might have wanted her out, then here's a story of what might happen to you if you don't leave. So maybe he did want her to leave, but not.
Yeah.
He didn't have like her best in what's it called? Her best interests in mind. Like maybe he had his own selfish or. Because I don't know, he didn't seem like the nicest guy.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I also was like so confused as to why he looked so familiar, but he's Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah. Come on, Anthony. Come on.
I was like some of it was I was just like, what's happening? Where's this guy from? Like during the weighing scene. But it all clicked.
Sorry, it's early. Do you have any more thoughts, or do you want to? I have only 2 fun facts.
No, read those and then we'll move on.
Okay. So Kristen Stewart trained for 6 months to perfect her accent, and
that shows.
I think so too. At first, I didn't know because like a lot of British accents sound the same to me. But the next one says the real life chef Darren McGrady actually went to go and watch the film. I guess he's still alive. And he said that Kristen Stewart's performance was, quote, incredible and that her accent was, quote, spot on. So that's the thing I've seen a lot, that a lot of people that knew her and watched the movie said that she was the best portrayal of Diana that they've ever seen. And that they
I wonder how their kids...
Yeah, I don't know. That must be
how their
fucking
kids
strange.
feel about it.
I don't know if anybody's asked. I mean, I would not ask about this movie because it feels very traumatic to watch if that was your mom. I mean, I don't know, though. Like I said, Harry probably knew exactly what happened because it happened to his wife. So if I was Meghan, I'd watch it. But that's one thing I've seen a lot is that people are saying that she, even like getting her like mannerisms down, like she did it really well. And there's one thing, I guess we can end on this. So I saw this one article that I really liked. Oh, I put it in the wrong area. What is this? Oh, okay. So I didn't write it down, but anyway, so I saw this article about where they interviewed the director and Kristen Stewart, and they talked about Diana. And one thing that they both said they kept thinking about, or at least Kristen Stewart said she kept thinking about whenever she was making this movie, was the last thing that Diana ever said before she died. And she looked at somebody came to her aid after the accident happened. And because I thought she died on impact, but I think she was still alive. And so she asked them what happened. That's the last thing she ever said. And so Kristen Stewart said that her and the director always took it as not only asking like what happened like in the accident, but they thought it was really haunting the way that could be applied to her life, and that she was asking like how did we get here? Because I mean that's how she died, is that the media was just, I think that's what people are saying. And that's what like the consensus is that the media was following her too closely and they caused the accident. So yeah, I just thought that was
like,
really
how did we get here?
Really scary. Yeah, basically like what happened. And so she said that when she was when they were like making the movie, she just kept thinking about that over and over again. And I feel like that was the scene with where she went back to the house. That's what it feels like. Is like, what happened?
That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And to an even, well, I don't know if it's sadder, but it's weirder, at least, movie, The Lost Daughter. All right, ready?
Yep.
A woman's beach vacation takes a dark turn when she begins to confront the troubles of her past in The Lost Daughter. Directed and written by Maggie Gyllenhaal, based on the novel by Elena Ferrante, starring Olivia Colman, Jessie Buckley, and Dakota Johnson.
Critics gave it a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, and on Letterboxd, it has an average of a 3.6 stars.
Okay.
I rated it a little bit above, mainly because I noticed more of the editing on this one. And I know, like, some people's criticisms for this movie and for Short Term 12 that I saw were like, is that really believable that you will find someone like in your life, like just out in the wild? Well, I guess less for Short Term 12, that like perfectly resembles and will remind you of your past life, which I don't even want to get into.
That's so dumb. I mean, she was so much older too, so like, yeah, it is possible. People lose their kids at beaches all the time.
But I think I liked this one more than Spencer is because of the editing. Okay, yeah. I remember I was going with that. The other criticism of at least this one is just like the, I guess, non-uniqueness of the, like the way the story is told, where it just like cuts between her current life and her past life. Just like that whole concept of like intercutting the two as they're like progressing.
Okay.
Whatever. I like the editing a lot because I feel like it perfectly matches like the way the story is told. Mm-hmm. Where it does, like, her past is kind of spilling into the present. This is where we get a little technical. Because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, like I mentioned. Just on like different aspects of filmmaking, you know, editing, cinematography, lighting, like all of that.
Yeah.
And there's these things called J and L cuts, where it's just because of like the way the cut looks in the timeline of how you'll see something, but the audio will be either from the past scene or from the upcoming scene. And there's one part in this movie, or like it's used throughout, and it's used in a lot of movies, but it's just perfect for this one because it emphasizes that, you know, spilling over of her past. Because, I mean, I guess we'll get into it, but I'll just mention it now. Like the one that really stood out was at the end when she's on the beach, and it cuts to like when she's cutting that orange with her daughters on the beach, when she gets stabbed and they're talking about a belly button or whatever. But I think it uses an L cut where the audio from, a J cut, where the audio from the next scene, where it's like the past, you can hear it, but you can see her alone at the beach. It's just, and you can like hear the kids and all that. I was just like, wow, editing, superb.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I noticed it a lot for this movie.
I like the cuts. I didn't mind it. The jumping back and forth. I totally disagree with people that didn't like it. And I think I think it could be overused, but I think they use it really well in this case. And the whole, like, the premise is not believable. Okay.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. I just remember seeing that for Short Term 12.
That's so fucking stupid. Because think about the housing. I'm sorry, I have to go on a tangent. But think about the housing that they work in. Of course, they're going to come across somebody that has the same situation. Or think about motherhood in general. Of course, you're going to find another mother that doesn't really want to be a mother. Like, what? Whatever.
It was also like Letterboxd reviewers, so they're not...
They're not smart, is that what you're saying?
They're not like the
followers.
best.
Yeah, I know.
Audience. Not my followers. It wasn't bad.
I know, I'm kidding. Yeah, I love this movie. I think it was, I don't know, love it, but I liked it a lot. I think I do like the premise of it this is such a weird double feature, by the way. I wish I would have watched it back to back. But
I kind of did.
Well, there you go. Because I feel like it's just the themes, or I think I wrote it down. Like the theme is the unspoken theme that we had, or like the mistaken theme is horror stories for women. Also, the husband is the same for both. I don't know if you noticed that. Prince Charles and then Prince Charles and the husband when she was younger is the same guy.
Well, okay, I knew that. I didn't realize when I picked these.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Serendipitous.
But yeah, so like another parallel is is that something that's supposed to be magical, so like being a princess or being a mom, is not really magical at all, and it's honestly a little horrific sometimes. I liked that theme. Yeah, because it truly does scare me. Like when I think about motherhood, I am excited to experience it if I get to. But I am terrified of it because you have to be, like we said, you have to be 100% all the time, it feels like. And I did empathize, and I don't know if, I feel like the movie wanted us to feel the whatever way we wanted to about Olivia Colman's character when she was younger, but I didn't hate her, like I kind of understood, and not because her kids were shitty, but because like they were just kids, right? But I think she just didn't realize how much she would lose from it, because you can talk all day with your husband about, we have to do it 50-50. Like you need to be, I want to do my work, but I want you to do it as well. But like that, at the end of the day, that kind of, a lot of it falls on the mom, and it doesn't really matter what she wants because she has to be a mom when he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, Yeah. And I did like the little taste of freedom that she got, or like just seeing that the couple, I didn't really understand that scene at first of the couple that was like hitchhiking. I didn't get that at first, but I liked it at the end, especially like I thought it was just a fun time, but I loved when she asked her like, does her kid do her kids, or are his kids okay? And I knew, I love that they did this because I knew exactly what she was actually asking. Like, could I do this and not
is it
fuck
okay
up
if I
kids?
leave?
Yeah. So I liked that a lot. And I think I like that films explore something like this, because as a woman, if I ever express like, I'm terrified to be a mom because I think it's going to like take up all of my life, and I don't want to just be that. I don't want to just be a mom. Like I still want to be myself. That's something that I feel like you get ridiculed for when you're a woman, that you're like, well, what, you're being selfish, just like your life should be about your kids. What's wrong with that? And like, I don't want my life to be about my kids. Like I want my life to mean something other than that. And I don't know if you can say that when you're a woman, but I feel like this movie was saying that, and I liked it. I like to explore that like deepest part of my brain that's like, being a mom doesn't seem that fun. But
yeah, one review I saw was like, this movie did for kids what Jaws did for sharks.
Yeah. Truly, it did make me, I mean, I don't know, it did make me like not want to, but it made me like, realize that I have to have a talk with not just who I'm gonna have a kid with, but like myself. Like, are you ready for this? Are you going to stick to your guns about wanting to do that, and I've heard a lot on a lot of TikToks too about how people are like, don't have kids just because you think it's fun, because it's not. It's a lot of work. And don't have kids because you want to have kids, or because you're like, what do they say? They're like, sometimes people adopt kids because they think it'll be fun, or whatever. But like, that meme of people are like, why do I have to do this because I didn't ask to be born? Like, it is kind of that, where they're like, your kids didn't ask to be born, so like it's a responsibility, or I don't know, just like all this stuff when I'm getting older about motherhood, about being a parent. It's scary, and this movie scared me.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked it though.
I'll never understand.
Yeah,
because like I physically can't, but I think this movie did a good job of helping that, where I was like, yeah, this is I can get why she wanted an escape. I think Jessie Buckley did fantastic.
Oh, I love her. And I think I don't what was I gonna say? I don't know if she did it the right way, but
yeah.
But I don't know, who's to say? What if
they seem to be fine? I mean, like, her kids were worried about her.
Yeah.
And they were like, I mean, it didn't seem like she did enough for her kids to like hate her. I'm sure they have like their own thoughts about it. But
yeah, I truly don't think it was. I don't think it had anything to do with them, though. I don't think it did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say that because like, it is directly affecting them, and it seems like a cop out to say that, but I don't think it had anything to do with them.
Right.
I don't know. But the movie itself, though, Olivia Colman was really good. I wouldn't be upset if she got a nomination.
I was gonna say, Jessie Buckley growing into Olivia Colman, like I can see that. Like I think it was
surprisingly,
because
when I saw that she was playing her older self, I was like, but I did like it. Like I think she got. It seems like whenever that happens, you either have to make like one of two decisions, where you have to go with one person's accent and stick with that, and like the other person has to learn it, or you both learn a different one. And I feel like they just kept Olivia Colman as is, and Jessie Buckley had to like form into her, and I feel like she did a really good job of that.
Very believable.
And I like the cast too. It felt like so random, but there was like the lady from Succession. Oh, and you haven't seen Karen from Succession. There was Dakota Johnson. There was that guy from Haunting of Hill House. There was
Ed Harris.
His name? Ed Harris. Yeah, like just randomly. But I liked it. I thought. Oh, and then Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband. What's his name?
Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like the cast a lot too. I thought they were all really good. I liked Ed Harris at first. Every time his character would come over, I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. But I liked what he represented. Like it felt like he was the only man in her life that was not judging, that didn't judge her. Especially like, I love that moment when he goes on the balcony and he sees and he obviously like saw the doll, but he just didn't do anything. He was just mind his business.
There's just water in it.
Yeah.
Which I don't get why she didn't give it back. Like,
I
get why, but like at a certain point, just give it back.
Especially when I think it was interesting when she learned that like the missing doll like caused so much trouble with his family that she didn't give it back. But I feel like in a way she wanted to cause that for Dakota Johnson because she wanted her to do what she did. Like she was like, you need a break, girl, and like there's only one way for you to know this, and it's if you have like a terrible vacation with your daughter. But yeah, that was kind of strange that she just kept like I like that parallel though. Like I understand what people are saying about the whole like, you know, too much of a coincidence, but I don't think so, because I do like that the doll, like kind of, it felt like it awakened something for her. Like it doesn't feel like this happened at just like a weird time, especially because she was so much older. She was like, you know, she obviously wasn't looking to learn something about her inner self, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I like that it felt like she was trying to she was harboring some regret that she never let herself explore because she was like too scared to realize that she made the wrong call, you know? And so I feel like she thought because she was causing so much chaos in this family that she was like, no, I did make the right call. Like I did what's best for my daughter and you should too. I also thought the like mob family part of it was very interesting. Like that was a weird addition, but I kind of liked it. I also
don't
love
mess
that.
with them.
Exactly. I also love the moment where she's like, I love this song and it's Bon Jovi. Or no, was it right?
I don't really remember. I just remember them dancing.
I liked the dancing moment too. Yeah. I like this movie a lot. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. I do have...
Me neither.
I do have a note about the ending. So this is, I guess for some background, this was first a book, a novel that was adapted by Maggie Gyllenhaal. And a fun fact is actually the author only... Because you have to... So I always try to like... I don't want to say dumb down, but I always try to like... you know, explain everything just so that I don't know what people
for our dumb
like,
little
know
audience.
No, I don't know how to say it.
Stupid people.
No, not dumb down. I always like to explain everything.
You make it like digestible.
Well, I just want to
easily
explain stuff because
digestible.
I don't want to like assume that everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. So like
Sure.
when you adapt a novel, you can't just like do it. Like you can't just write a screenplay and make a movie for a novel that you don't own the rights to. And so when you want to own the rights to a novel, you have to talk to either the person if they own their own IP or if it's an estate. So like if it's an author that's dead, sometimes other people own all of their works, or an estate owns their works. So anyways, in this case, Maggie Gyllenhaal talked directly to the author, and the author said that she gave her the rights to the book to adapt it into a movie, but she told her only either she said, I've heard one of two things. She either said only a woman can direct it or only you can direct it. And so that's why Maggie Gyllenhaal directed and wrote it because that's what the author requested. So yeah.
I was going to say.
Same thing with like with music too.
amazing
Sometimes you
debut.
have to ask. Yeah, really, really good. Which sometimes when actors like direct and like whenever they release their first movie, I'm like, ugh. But pretty good. I liked it a lot. Especially she wasn't in it. I like that she wasn't in it though. I feel like sometimes I wonder when actors like direct a movie if they have. I always think about like that meme of that guy that's like it looks like he's taking a shit, and it's like wanting to cast themselves.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so the ending. So the reason I brought that up is because one of the things I saw is articles that were talking about like the differences between the book and the film adaptation. And one of them that was changed, like a lot of things were changed, like I think the location, certain small things, but a big thing that was changed was actually the ending. And so I am actually going to read, this is a spoiler for the book if you want to read the book, but I'm going to read the last paragraph from the book because the article said that if you, the ending is a little ambiguous because she says, I think they ask, like, she calls her daughters and they're like, oh, we thought you were dead because you were like, we didn't hear from you. And she's like, I think she said, I'm alive, right? She told them like, I'm alive. But there's like kind of at least to me, there was kind of a question if she is actually alive, because it seems like coincidental that her daughters are together, especially after being stabbed by a hairpin. Like, I don't, maybe she is dying on the beach. Who knows? But it just ends there and we don't know. But an article I found said that the ending of the book might help you figure out if it's, you know, what actually happened. So I'm going to read it right now. I sat down cautiously on the sofa. Maybe the pin had pierced my side the way a sword pierces the body of a Sufi ascetic. I don't know what that is. Ascenic? Something. I don't know. Doing no harm. I looked at the hat on the table, the crust of blood on the skin. It was dark. I rose and turned on the light. I started to pack my bags, but moving slowly as if I were gravely injured. When the suitcases were ready, I dressed, put on my sandals, smoothed my hair. At that point, the cell phone rang. I saw Marta's name. I think they changed the name, but that's her daughter. I felt a great contentment. I answered, she and Bianca in unison, as if they had prepared the sentence and were performing it, exaggerating my Neapolitan cadence, shouted gaily into my ear, Mama, what are you doing? Why haven't you called? Why won't you at least let us know if you're alive or dead? Deeply moved, I murmured, I'm dead, but I'm fine. So that's the last line.
How does that clear things up?
So, okay, well, so that's the last line, but the article explains, and I have I have some of the article. Jesus. The phrasing may be different, I'm alive versus I'm dead, but the ambiguity remains. Nina reminds Lita of a younger version of herself. So I think Nina is Dakota Johnson and Lita is Olivia Colman. So Nina reminds Lita of a younger version of herself from the time when she left her daughters. But when Nina stabs Lita, Nina rejects the choice Lita made to cheat on her husband and abandon her child. In both versions, the question we are left with is the same. Will Lita be able to recover from the wounds inflicted by her younger self, or were they fatal?
Oh.
Because if you think about it, I mean, I didn't even realize this until, which maybe I'm dumb, but I didn't realize this until I read this. But like that, yeah, Dakota Johnson's character was in the same exact situation where she like was obviously not happy with her kid, you know, just being alone with her kid because her husband was like nowhere to be found. And she was cheating on him with this guy at the resort.
Well,
so
dang.
Yeah. So I think that's what the ambiguity is like, is not if she's like literally dead or alive. Is she going to let this keep her go? Like, is she? I guess in the book it's like, you know, she does regret it and she's good. That's gonna eat her alive. But like in the movie, maybe she's not. Maybe she'll just move on and she'll realize what she did and she'll let herself have a relationship with her daughters.
Yeah, she's either come to terms with it or not.
And that's kind of any choice that you make, right? You just have to either live with it and move on and stop. You know, obviously Lita was not dealing with it in a healthy fashion if she just keeps, like you said, like, I don't know. I think that's what makes me mad about the whole, like, oh, this is too much of a coincidence thing, because like, who's to say she didn't try to push it in as much as she could until she was, you know, of a certain age, and then this just made it all come up, and now she needs to, like, the life she was living, we didn't get to see it between younger and older self, but like maybe she wasn't fully living the life that she wanted to because she didn't think she deserved it. So
yeah,
this is the awakening of her trying to come to terms with her decision, or just continue to push it down and let her suffer.
Wow.
Let her slowly bleed out, or put a Band-Aid on it.
Good story.
Yeah, I like it a little bit more after reading that. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I'm just too dumb.
Yeah.
That's why I have to dump stuff down, not for the viewers, but for myself.
That's funny. Dang.
Right.
Well, that makes me appreciate the story more. Like,
Yeah,
I
same.
liked it as a movie already.
Same.
But, wow.
Yeah.
Solid
Two solid
3.5.
starts for the year.
Yeah. We're back. I'm glad I did this. It's totally intentional that I picked these two together
Yep.
to create that through line.
Like, I just understand women on a level that I think a lot of men can't.
Well, it's neither here nor there.
Oh, I wish you watched Succession. I'm watching with Sebastian right now, and I'm trying to see if I can preface this where it makes sense. But one of the guys, one of the like sons of the top dog, he's so cringy, and he's walking into an event after he like, you know, did something kind of controversial, and he looks to his girlfriend and is like, should I give him something? And talking about like the paparazzi, and she's like, yeah. And so he looks at them and he says, fuck the patriarchy. And it's so cringy.
I've seen that still. Yeah.
It's so fucking cringy. And that's you right now. Okay.
That's Kendall, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You should. Oh, that's a tweet. Me after watching Spencer and The Lost Daughter back to back.
Yeah, that's funny.
There you go.
Solid week. Now, next week we're gonna watch. I probably won't be able to watch it, but The Best Picture, the 355. Have you heard about that movie?
Yeah, I was thinking of going to the movies to watch it now that, you know, I'm free.
Yeah.
I should have done. This is a bad comparison. I'm just gonna not say it. Never mind.
I'm
I'll
excited
tell you
to start a
off-pod.
new 2022 ranked list on Letterboxd.
Me too. Especially it'll be all year.
Yeah.
You know, I was almost. And maybe you can tell me if this is a bad idea or not. But I was gonna do for Letterboxd. Like, I want to do more lists, and I was gonna do like the first time I watch a movie, like rank those, but by the year. I don't know if that makes sense. So like Dead Poet Society, whatever year it came out, I'll make a year of like let's say it came out like 1990. I'll make a year just for movies of 1990, and then once I watch movies of that year, I'll add it to it. and then I'll rank them by then. But I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
I feel like you'd have to watch enough to
Warrant that?
warrant that list.
Or make that list substantial.
But that's the thing. I'll add to it as I go. So like maybe by the end of the year I'll have 5. Maybe one will have 2. Maybe one will have 1.
That's a lot of lists, though.
Is that too many?
It depends. If it's not for you, then don't, or then do it.
If it's not for me, what do you mean?
If it's not too much for you, then do it. Like for me, I probably would only do like the 2010s, and like for movies where,
ooh, okay,
like I remember it being like a solid year. Like I'd probably go back and do 2019 because like that was a solid of a year for film, or like, you know. But that would be interesting. I might do like a 90s or 2000s list.
Okay.
Because every year seems like a bit too much. I'm trying to see what other lists I can
do, but I'm doing like I have like comfort horror. I have movies that scared me, like that legitimately scared me.
Right. That's a solid one.
I have like
you could do directors.
I could classics that I waited too long to see. Or you know what I'm going to do? I just keep forgetting. I'm going to do A24 films. Because I'm trying to think of like, what have I seen that's a lot, like really, or maybe I'll do indies. Like my favorite indies. Like I don't know if I like to rank stuff, but I like to make lists.
You could do like movies you've probably never heard of. Or, yeah, indies was a good one.
Okay. I'll do stuff. I want to do lists that are useful. I feel like the other ones aren't useful.
Yeah, okay. Those would be pretty useful.
I'll do that then. All right.
Because then you can just direct people. Just give them a link. You know, when people ask you. That's the thing. What would people normally ask you? Like, what's a good horror movie to watch with your friend? Like, good horror movies to watch with your friends. Then you can just send that link. Be like, here.
Ooh.
I've already curated this perfect list for you.
That's a good idea. Okay. If anybody has list ideas, let me know. I like making lists.
Yeah.
Like as specific as possible too. Like I wanted to do one that's like, for when I like need to cry but my body won't let me. Like something like that.
Okay.
Like funny. I don't know if you do that, but sometimes like I know I need to cry but I can't just like cry, so I watch something sad.
I'll just watch Interstellar, that scene.
There you go. It'll just be that. I'll make that list with just Interstellar.
Can you put multiples? Just put like 5 Interstellars.
I could.
Solid.
Maybe. I'll just put I'll put all Christopher Nolan, and then in the comments I'll just say it's just all Interstellar. I just couldn't put multiple. Oh, director's one is good though. I'll try that. I don't know. We'll see. I'll do that right now maybe. Just make a bunch of lists.
Oh, you know what would be funny? No, I got to think about it more.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to come on this podcast with half-assed ideas, so
yeah, don't you ever fucking do that. All right.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.